Hello everybody, it's Siobhan again from At One Wellbeing. So we've been through a number of topics over the period of the last, 9 or 10 weeks. And today we thought it would be really important, especially at this time, to focus on self-care. Because sometimes when we're feeling a bit of pressure or when things have changed so much, that sometimes we can forget to take care of ourselves. And in the midst of everything that we're going through, we just thought it was a really, really important topic to focus on and to bring some attention to, and maybe just simply to act as a reminder to you that if you don't take care of yourself, then you can start to feel really bad, really low, and then maybe the people that you care for, the people that you're with in your household or your friendship circle, that you can't actually take care of them. So as usual, I have a wee presentation here, so I'm just going to start to share screen. You know the format by now, I hope. And self-care for all of us should actually be a priority, because if we can't take care of ourselves and if we can't look after ourselves, well then, the consequences of that can be, quite damaging to our good mental health and our good well-being. So today, the importance of self-care. So listen, we all know what self-care is. It's nearly self-explanatory. It's a matter of looking after yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. And it's what you do to make sure that you're feeling well and strong and resilient. Because, as I say, sometimes we can forget, sometimes life is so incredibly busy that we can forget just to take a moment to ourselves, just to look after ourselves, whether it is physically, like going out for a walk, or doing a yoga class online or a Zumba class online, emotionally, and what it takes to sustain us and nurture us emotionally. And really importantly, self-care is all about our mental health. And, maintaining good mental health is so important to us all, because the consequence and the other side of it and the flip side of it is mental ill health. And I suppose if we can build self-care into our daily routine, that builds resilience to poor mental health and actually allows us just some time to look after ourselves. And do you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It is certainly not a selfish act. It probably is one of the best things that you can do for yourself every single day. So that is self-care. So the next thing is, why is it important? Well, I feel like as if I'm preaching to the converted here, because in our mind, we all know why it is so important to take care of ourselves. Because you know what? When you're sitting maybe today in front of a computer all day long, and you don't get a break from it. It's in your house, it's on your kitchen table like mine is, and every time you walk into the kitchen, regardless of whether it's after 5 o'clock, that computer is still there, that workstation is still there. So it's really important to build in some time every day, because it protects you from stress, anxiety, low mood, and depression. That's how important self-care is in your daily routine. And it also really helps you to function normally in everyday life. Because if you are constantly on that, that treadmill of busy, what does that do to your functioning? Because the definition of well-being is feeling good and functioning well. And what you want to do is to be able to function normally every day, to be the best of yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself and taking care of your diet, your exercise, your emotional health, your relationships, your connections and your feelings of, being part of something, really you will start to find that your functioning in everyday life will not be normal at all. Actually, self-care, and I have experienced this myself, going through periods in life when you're like, oh my goodness, no, I can't take a break, I can't even sit down. Well, that leads to burnout. And for anybody who has experienced burnout, it is incredibly difficult to recover from burnout. So self-care is important because it reduces the likelihood of burnout. It also helps your relationships, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then it can affect your mood, it can affect your behavior, it can affect you emotionally, it can make you irritable, it can make you, maybe fly off the handle more than you should do or would do. And that has an impact on every relationship, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your partner, your parents, your friends, whatever it is. Because if you don't take care of yourself, sometimes you can become totally and utterly exhausted and completely overwhelmed with everything that is going on in your life right now. And it's really important as well, and it's like that, when you're in an aircraft and you hear the announcements that start before you take off, and it says fit your own mask first. So if you turn around and fit somebody else's mask, and you know the oxygen in the aircraft cabin like drops, well then if you're so busy fitting somebody else's oxygen mask, then you don't have time to fit your own. So it's really important, if you care for somebody else, that you also make sure that you care for yourself. Because if you don't care for yourself, you can experience burnout, you can experience compassion fatigue, you can experience lethargy, you know, that sense of not being able and not having the energy to do anything. So it's incredibly important for you to manage to build in every single day something that you enjoy, something that nurtures you, something that allows you to care for yourself. Because you know what? You're important. You're important enough to care for. You're important enough to spend half an hour or an hour every day, even 15 minutes if you're at a push. But to do something is so important for you in your functioning, in your mental health and well-being, your emotional health, your physical health. And you know what, that's why we selected this as a topic at this stage, because now is time really to start to focus again on you. And things have changed so rapidly. You know, from March time to now, we have had many, many ups and downs. We've had many changes. We've had things that have been, you know, things that have happened to us that we didn't ask for, things that have happened that we couldn't control. And you know what, when you're focusing your energies and efforts in just getting through every day, self-care can become less of a priority. So what we want to do today is to make sure now that you think again about yourself in the midst of all of this and what it is that you can do for you. So building self-care into daily life. Well, the important thing is that you learn how to prioritize self-care. Excuse me. Prioritize self-care. You know what, as I said just now, you are important. And why wouldn't you prioritize taking care of yourself? Why wouldn't you set aside some time every day just to do something that you really enjoy? And decide on what it is you enjoy doing and what makes you feel good, because then it becomes so much easier. Like, there's no point in me saying, oh, part of my self-care routine from here on in is going to be going to the gym 3 times a week. I hate the gym. That is not self-care. That is torture. So to do things that you really enjoy and to do things that make you feel really good, that is what self-care is. And prioritizing that and doing that. And you know what? I've said before, like last week we talked about goal setting. You have got to make a plan and you have got to commit to it. Because if you want to prioritize your own self-care in the midst of all of this, and really to nurture and take care of yourself, you have got to make a plan. And you know, sometimes it's really useful to write that plan down, because otherwise you can forget and you don't then commit to it. So make a plan and commit to it. And then I would, and this is from my own personal experience, is to be consistent in your approach to self-care. So if it is in the evening times after the dinner's over and the dishes are washed and you know you're just sitting down, put your feet up if you have time. Of course, many of us don't have time and we just keep going until bedtime. Make a commitment to select a time of day, what type of activity, how long you're going to do it for, even if it is starting off with 15 minutes off a guided meditation, for example. Be consistent in the time, because then, do you know what? Consistency helps you to build new habits. Consistency helps you to remember, oh, right, okay, dishes are washed, this is the time. So there's something, again, in you being conscious of self-care, being aware that self-care is really important, and then committing to building it into your daily life. Because if I notice myself, and listen, I talk to so many people, and so many people have so many different ways that they do take care of themselves. And if they don't like start to really think about it and commit to it and do it consistently and constantly, well, constantly, right, okay, consistently, do it consistently. And if they forget, they do notice a real dip, even in their energy levels, and their sense of well-being, and their sense of happiness, and their sense of like relaxation. People do notice when they stop doing self-care. And it does take a wee bit of time to build this thing up, to build it into your daily routine, and actually to notice that it is making a difference to you. So that's the importance of self-care, and building it into daily life is absolutely key to getting yourself going, to getting yourself started, and to committing to doing something pleasant for yourself. So listen, we all have our own ideas. We all have our own things that we enjoy. Some things are here that I really enjoy. Like, I love going out for a walk. And at the very start of lockdown, because I was finding things so incredibly difficult, I did decide with a friend, luckily enough, I had somebody there who I could go out for a walk with, and every day we tried to get out for a walk. Listen, it might be half an hour, it might be an hour, but the beautiful thing about it is I don't even notice because I have somebody with me. And even that conversation, that sense of connection, you know, we look at our watch and say, oh my goodness me, can't believe we've been out for an hour, didn't even notice the walk going by, because the chat's going on, the crack's going on, we're having a laugh, but we're really enjoying being out in the fresh air. And we've also committed to the fact if it's raining, we put on a big coat because we're not made out of salt and we will not melt. So there's something about committing to it even when the weather's not on your side, and just saying, do you know what, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel good because I'm getting some exercise. I'm getting time away from the kitchen table. I'm getting time away from the laptop. I actually enjoy being out with Helen. We walk and we talk, and it's absolutely amazing. For other people, it might be something as simple as just lifting a book and reading it. I love listening to music as well. And I know I live in the middle of two houses, so I can't play it that loud, but sometimes a wee bit of AC/DC, bang, 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 up and moving about. Sometimes it's Ludovico Einaudi, just for that sense of relaxation. So whatever it is that you enjoy, listening to music is your self-care. Dance around the kitchen. You know, sometimes I live on my own, and, you know, sometimes I feel a wee bit odd dancing around the living room when AC/DC's on. Do you know what I mean? But there's just something energetic and something fun and something childlike about dancing around your kitchen or your living room to good music. Meeting and talking with your friends is also essential, even to your sense of connection. But it's really, really important as part of your self-care. Because I remember at the start of lockdown, living on my own here, and it was like, oh my goodness me, life has completely changed for me. I can't even get out. I can't even go and see my family. I can't go and see my friends. But the ability to Zoom, for example, to talk to my friends on the phone was really important to my self-care during lockdown. And you know what? It's really important to me anyway, that I like to meet and talk to my friends. I like going up to see my friend Caroline on a Friday night, maybe have a wee glass of wine. But you know what? The chat that goes on is just, you know, it's nearly like a release, and it's just an amazing feeling. But importantly as well, having time to yourself is important, because if you're living in a household where there's lots going on, and especially during this time when like homeschooling was a big thing at the start of lockdown, and then maybe if you have children in around your feet and you're trying to work, having some time to yourself and just take a step back. And maybe when you're doing that, you could listen to a meditation. 15 minutes, lie in the bed, find a quiet corner of the house, time to yourself, listen to a beautiful guided meditation. You know what? Coloring in, word search, or other puzzles. You know, that focuses your mind entirely on the task, just on what you're doing. And when you're coloring in, and you know, I'm sure you've heard of mindful coloring, you're actually so focused on what you're doing. And it's a bit like knitting or crocheting as well. You're so focused on what you're doing that you're not thinking about anything else. You're not worrying about the future. You're not thinking about things that happened yesterday. And there's just a real sense of, you know what, this allows me just to get out of my own head and the thoughts that sometimes can bother me just for a while, just for half an hour, just for an hour. Or what I absolutely love to do is get into the car and just go. Just go. Take notice of all the beauty that's around me. Take notice of the color of the trees. You know, if it's raining or if the sun has just come out, it is just an amazing feeling just to go for that drive and be peaceful and be silent. Even turn the radio off and take notice of what's going on. You will have your own ideas. We're all individual human beings. But do something that you enjoy. Do something that you know that you can sustain. Do something that you know that you can commit to. But the important thing is to do something, right? So are you with me? Oh my God, I do this every time. I'm sitting here in front of a computer screen. And seriously, it's not an ideal situation to be in, because if we were together, we would be having the chat and the crack, and we would be sharing ideas, and you would be telling me what you do or what you plan to do and how committed you are to taking care of yourself. But listen, we are where we are, and good enough is good enough. So how it improves your mental health. Do you know what? When you take care of yourself, it gives you important time to yourself, right? If you're like doing the meditation, or if you're just taking that time out, if you're going out for a drive in the car, it gives you important time to yourself. Important time to spend with friends as well. Important time for you to do the things that bring you joy. Oh my goodness, what an amazing feeling. Things that bring you joy. Self-care also helps you to put things into perspective, because if we're in that constant, overwhelming, stressful activity and we're never allowing ourselves to stop, taking that time to take care of yourself can help you to put anything that happens in your day into perspective. And it also provides balance in your life. And a balanced life is what we strive for. You've heard the term for years and years, work-life balance. So if you're constantly working and then you don't take any time to balance that out by doing something that is joyful, that is nurturing, that is, you know, good for your mental health, physical health, and emotional health, your life is imbalanced. And you know what? You can keep that going for a while, but it can't last forever. Because if you can't find balance in your life, you can quickly become worn out and burnt out. And you know what? It can also give you a real boost. It can boost your energy, because if you are consistently focused on other people and not on yourself, and you're focused on caring for other people and you're giving of yourself all of the time, that really impacts upon your energy levels for yourself and the time that you have for yourself. So it improves your mental health by giving you a boost in your emotions and your feelings about yourself and your feelings about your life. But also it's really important because it can help you reduce stress. And it makes you feel that you're actually helping yourself. Yeah, help yourself. Oh my goodness, what a crime to take some time to myself during the day and do something that I enjoy and something that allows me to care for myself. Imagine the cheek of you even thinking about that. I would say today, if you're finding it really difficult to build any self-care into your life, start today. Take today and really think through, what is it that I would like to do for myself? What does self-care look like for me? How will it make me feel if I take an hour or half an hour every day just for me? To lift the phone and ring a friend, to go out for a walk, to do a yoga class online. What would it feel like if I were to do that? And what benefits would it have for me in my life, in my emotional health, my mental health, my physical health, how I would feel about myself? Because see, when you get into the mindset that this is important, that this is not something that, you know, is a wee sneaky way to take care of myself, that this is just part of your everyday life, then you start to feel all the benefits that self-care brings to you. So we talked about, you know, what we can do, how we can do it, how we can commit to it, what time of the day we'll do it. And here is an example of a self-care plan. And notice that self-care is not selfish or self-indulgent. We cannot nurture others from a dry well. We need to take care of our own needs first, and then we can give from our surplus or abundance. So we cannot pour from an empty jug. So it's what we can do to sustain the levels of water in the jug, because once you go to pour from an empty jug, nothing comes out. And you don't want to get to that stage where you have nothing left. And a person who is humble would never be abusive or selfish. So don't abuse yourself or withhold self-love or self-care. Really important, because you are important enough to care for. You shouldn't be saying, oh no, I don't have time for this. You do have time, you can make time. So if you look at the 3 circles, the mental, read, learn, take your medications daily, talk to friends, whatever it is that you can do for yourself in terms of looking after your mental health. And the 5 steps to well-being also comes into this, and we have a video on the YouTube channel which takes you through the 5 steps to well-being in a wee bit more detail and how you can build them into your daily life, and that protects your good mental health. Your physical, get active, eat a good healthy diet, take care of yourself. Like I give myself a face scrub from time to time. More than just like looking after my skin, actually makes me feel brighter. Do you know what I mean? It makes me feel brighter. So what can you do for your physical self? Get some sleep, right? Sleep hygiene. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. You know, watch what you're eating, watch what you're drinking. Yeah, sometimes when we're in a situation like this, we can get ourselves into unhealthy habits, like maybe drinking a wee bit more, smoking a wee bit more, eating a wee bit more, maybe not eating the best food, letting ourselves go, maybe slouching around every day in our pajamas. You know, what can you do for yourself physically, and write it down. And then emotional. You know, there's something about, like I said about that, like creativity and even doing word searches or coloring in, or, you know, doing something with your hands, whether it's out in the garden, whether it's painting, decorating, whatever it is. There's something nurturing about that. Create something. Yet there's the simple things as well, like a hot bath, you know, like candles and all of that lovely, lovely stuff that can make you feel really good. And again, there's something that was covered in the 5 steps to well-being about helping others, which is about giving. And importantly, it is not, you know, over-giving and over-committing. Actually, there's something about helping yourself as well and giving to yourself, giving yourself loving kindness, giving yourself a break, being compassionate with yourself. Talk to yourself in a positive way. You know, we talked about the inner critic and the voice that can go on in your head. You know what? Take a break from it all. Self-care is important. Self-care helps you to maintain good mental and physical health. It looks after your well-being. And why wouldn't you make it a priority for you? Why wouldn't you make it a priority? I make it a priority for myself because I know the consequences of not taking care of myself, not having that time where I can just sit and be with myself. I can just sit and colour in. I can just listen to music, dance around the kitchen, go for a walk. That is key to the whole of my life. The key to the whole of my life. I have work to do. Yes, of course, I have family commitments. Yes, of course, but I also have a commitment to myself to keep myself well. So that's a self-care plan. You can draw up your own self-care plan, but just remember, it is not a selfish act. It is an act of kindness. We need to nurture ourselves before we can nurture anybody else. And to keep ourselves motivated and well, build self-care into every day. So that's the presentation today. If you have any questions you want to ask, contact me about anything. Send me a wee email, Siobhan at -onewellbeing.com. And you know what? Self-care, make it your priority this week. And make it your priority every week. Have a great day. Okay, bye.